Hi, everybody. This is Saad. Been a rough weekend, but in any case, today I wanted to introduce for many of my viewers and listeners two games. It's called Six Degrees of Jew. It's not unlike Six Degrees of Noam Chomsky. In that game, which I've discussed in a previous Saad Truth clip long ago, in that game, I give you any calamity and then you have to link it to the U.S. industrial military complex in six or fewer causal steps. So, for example, a frog just died in Amazon. How can you blame it on the U.S. military industrial complex? And that game can be applied to anything. So, for example, for the Malibu meditator, it's 6 degrees of Donald Trump. So anything that happens, you have to link it to Donald Trump being the root cause of that problem in six or fewer steps. You had a tooth cavity. Why? Explain how it's Donald Trump's fault. You can do it for anything. You could do it for climate change and so on. Well, I've previously discussed, so I'm going to talk now about the two games, 6 Degrees of Jew. One is, it's really 6 degrees of Kill the Jew. And the way it works is, how many interactions does it take before your interlocutor converges to kill the Jew? So in many places where the noble faith of infinite peace and tolerance rules, then it's only one step. So you say hello, the name of the person, and then he retorts, kill the Jews. Okay. In some cases, it takes a bit more. Hello, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? Kill the Jews. Some cases, it might take long, but usually within 6 steps, your interlocutor in the noble lands of perpetual peace will arrive to kill the Jews. Another game, very much in line with the game of causality, 6 degrees of causality, which I discussed in The Parasitic Mind, or 6 degrees of Noam Chomsky, is 6 degrees of Jew, where any issue has to be linked to the Jews are the problem in 6 or fewer steps. So let me give you some examples that I learned today. So someone had posted something about the industrial scale level mass rapes of young British girls all over, up and down England, in many, many cities, most famously in Rotherham, but there are many, many other cities. And, 99% were committed by one group of people that share a unifying theme. And so I had retweeted and said, could you tell us what is common to all those rapists? And then someone wrote, yes, all of those people were let in to England because of pro-Jewish immigration policy. So it's Jews who were the architects of, the multicultural experiment. I didn't know, for example, that Pierre Trudeau, who's the founder, the creator of the multiculturalism movement in Canada, I didn't know that he was Jewish. So in that case, even though it is people of another faith who are committing 99% of the rapes and stating that it is religiously sanctified in their faith to do so, because the women the little girls that they're raping are not of that faith, that is blamed on the Jews because, immigration policy. And then the same thing applies for anything that I've posted. So anything, literally anything, right, that has nothing to do with Jews is linked back to, yes, but it was a Jewish. So if it's communism, but it's the Jews. If it's right now, in a banal way, some of that could be true, right? Like they literally might have been someone who was an important policymaker in some country who was Jewish. But it's not because it is inscribed in Judaism to have open borders, right? George Soros is Jewish and he's open borders. That doesn't mean, let's round up and kill the Jews because George Soros is an idiot, right? But my point is that every single calamity, 2 weeks after the October 7th massacre of 1,400 children, elderly people, young men, young women, people at a music festival raped, decapitated, all that has resulted in an orgiastic fervor to further demonstrate that all of these problems ultimately reside with the Jews. As a matter of fact, the attack on October 7th is proof of how diabolical the Jews are, because Hamas would never do this. First of all, it's not sanctioned in the religion. It wasn't go for that. That they were driven to such Hamas, such fervor, such zeal, is a demonstration of how diabolical the Jews are. Have a good day, everybody.